Alright guys, so today we need to talk about this brand new CS2 update that literally just dropped minutes ago. I'm recording this immediately as soon as this update is dropping. I cannot be getting this information to you guys any faster. I was literally on CS2 getting ready to queue for a premiere game, and during my premiere queue, weirdly enough, it kicked us out of the queue, or like our queue just kind of kept queuing, and it was like, hey, you need to update the game to continue playing. Like, there's a new update ready. You can, you don't have the most updated version of the game or whatever. It was very, very interesting, very crazy. I've never had that happen while I was actually on the game or in queue or anything like that before. But also the fact that today's Thursday. Obviously these big updates generally come out on like Tuesdays or whatever, but I don't know. Today we're getting it on Thursday, and we got this from Valve at Counter-Strike on Twitter. They said tonight's forecast, Ancient, which obviously they get this new picture of Ancient. We have heard about the speculation, the rumors, the files about the night Ancient mode coming. Obviously recently we saw the nighttime train where it looks really sick. The lighting at night and the rain and all the stuff like that makes skins and screenshots and all that stuff look very, very cool. And we've heard from some of the data leaks and stuff that they've been working on a similar version of Ancient, but I wasn't sure. Is it going to be an entirely new map? Is it going to replace Ancient? Is there going to be a day and a night mode? I didn't really know, but obviously that is a part of this update today, but also plenty of other stuff, and including a new limited edition item as well. So let's see what's going on in this update. Tonight's forecast, Ancient, and they posted this video of what this new nighttime Ancient is going to look like. I can't imagine there's like any changes to it except nighttime and some rain. Now again, this is going to be very, very, very cool as far as the visuals, as far as the optics, as far as screenshots, looking at your skins, stuff like that. Train has become one of the most popular places to go in and view skins, become one of the most popular places to do, screenshots and looking at your inventory and loadout and all that stuff. I really love it really showcases the full kind of new visual effects and visual updates and visual capabilities of Counter-Strike 2, because obviously that is one of the biggest and best things that is kind of universally loved across the board, is the fact that CS2 does look so good. It looks looks better than CSGO. It doesn't always feel better. It doesn't always play better. Some people still, like the movement or the feel or whatever about CSGO, but I don't really see anybody saying that CSGO looks better than CS2, and these are just another way that, CS2 looks really, really great. So it's a brand new day and night in CS2's tropical maps. Ancient and Shoots have gotten visual upgrades and now have nighttime versions. The nighttime version of Ancient is only available in casual and deathmatch. Now again, it'll be interesting to see over time. Does the nighttime version of Ancient overtake Ancient? Is it popular, less popular? I don't really understand the point of having a nighttime and a daytime version of the same map in the same game at the same time, because if they are just truly, I think I'm lagging a little bit because I think my CS2 update's happening in the background, so forgive me. I thought I canceled it, but I guess it kept going in the background. I don't really understand the point of having a daytime and nighttime version of the same map at the same time if there are no other changes. You're going to be splitting the queue between the day and nighttime version, or maybe the nighttime version is the only available version in casual and deathmatch. Like the daytime version is going to be in competitive and premiere, and then the nighttime version is going to be in casual and deathmatch. I guess that would maybe make some sense, but still, we're lagging super bad now. I don't really know what's going on. Let me see if I can close out of this real quick or something, I guess. Yeah, my CS2 is just going insane. I totally thought that I stopped in the background, but whatever. The show must go on. The point here is the big new update and the content and stuff like that. We do have, some more screenshots, obviously, of what Ancient looked like previously and what it looks like now. We also have some new music kits. Today we are releasing the Deluge music kit. Let me see what's going on here. I don't know why this is happening, but obviously with an update happening and all the, and the recording and all this stuff, it's going to be a little bit scuffed. But today we are releasing the Deluge music kit box featuring music kits from Adam Bayer, Ghost Health, James and the Cold Gun, Jonathan Young, Jules Killer Mike, PVRIS, Selective Response, and Tiger Club. I don't know if I know any of these people. Obviously, I think music kits are overall a fun thing in the game. If there are cool music kits, obviously, there's stuff that you hear very, very often in the game. So I like having good music kits in the game because there are things that get stuck in your head. There are things that are like addicting. Some of the annoying ones I don't really like, and, it kind of makes me want to mute them and stuff like that. But overall, I think music kits are fine. Also, I think it's cool. Those artists have a way to make some money by obviously being incorporated in Counter-Strike 2, getting a portion of the sales, all that good stuff. I think it's great, awesome, whatever. Does it really move the needle for me? No, not that much. I don't really think it affects the CS2 investing scene or anything like that. But something that absolutely will impact the CS2 investing scene, and something I was not necessarily expecting. Obviously, we have not had a new limited edition item for a little while now. I don't exactly remember when the XM Solitude did get removed, but we do have in its place now the new limited edition item. We are also refreshing the limited time item in the armory. The M4A1S Solitude is now available. Now, obviously, this is the second iteration of the Solitude skins, and obviously the XM1014 Solitude did not sell that well. You know, we started out with an absolute banger in the new limited edition items with the Desert Eagle Heat Treated. It sold absolutely insane. You know, Valve made a killing on that. And obviously with the limited edition items, it is very, very, very important that they have different patterns or, different templates or different colors or whatever, because people are going to be buying them up in mass because you're guaranteed to get them. You know, there's no random, there's no chance or whatever. So with the Desert Eagle Heat Treated, you know, we had all the different kind of colors, you know, the blue gems, the yellow, the whatever. And I don't know, overall, I think that ended up being a success. I think a lot of the Desert Eagle Heat Treated looked pretty ass, but some of the good ones looked really, really good. And, you know, you took a chance at getting something very rare. But also, I think while the Desert Eagle Heat Treated existed, I think people undervalued it a lot because, you know, when you use sites like CSROI and all these different things, the price of the super, super rare, the super good looking, or the blue gems, whatever, was not calculated in. So it made it look like the ROI was always a lot worse. And then as people over time started to realize that, hey, the ROI is actually a lot better because you can get overpay for a lot of these different, templates and a lot of these different blue gems and stuff like that. Chinese bot farms, and people started to farm them more and more and more, and the people who caught onto that sooner, I think actually made a lot of money and killed it on those. But it will be interesting over time to see how good those end up being as an investment, because obviously there's a ton of Desert Eagle Heat Treateds out there. But the XM1014 Solitude, it didn't sell that much, not really that much demand. Obviously it's an XM1014 skin, no one was really going to care that much, but the idea behind it, you know, the fact that it was like a painting, you know, a work of art, and you got different fragments or segments or whatever on it, and you could have the sunrise, the sunset, the mountains, the sky, the wind, whatever. It was cool. You know, it's a work of art. It is really beautiful. But like I said, it was just kind of lost on a skin that nobody really cared about, and it wasn't redeemed that much. But now we are getting it on the M4A1S, which is absolutely going to be a banger. And the thing here is, you know, I'm very, very curious to see how this is going to work out with the different ones being worth different overpays and stuff. It's going to be super curious and super interesting to see how, you know, these different ones go for different prices, how much it ends up being worth in the short term and in the long term. Again, another thing to keep in mind is that when you are calculating ROIs for stuff like this and trying to see if it's, you know, worth it or whatever, to keep in mind that different ones of these are probably going to be worth different overpay, but there are going to be so many different versions and variations that I think things like this are going to be very, very, very difficult to price. You know, when you have something like Desert Eagle Heat Treated, you can price it based on the amount of blue or, you know, the exact pattern. Like this, you know, the more blue it is, the more worth it's going to be and stuff like that. But for something like this, the M4A1S Solitude, even though it's a work of art, even though it's very, very pretty and beautiful and whatever, you know, how is it going to be valued? Like, oh, this one has the sun on it, this one has mountains on it, this one has a landscape, this one has whatever, and this one's worth, you know, this much overpay or this much overpay, whatever. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting. And, you know, that could lead to inefficiencies in the market. That could lead for, you know, people who really specialize in this skin or, you know, whatever to have a leg up and be able to make some more money. But it's also going to, you know, have kind of a skill gap for the people who don't really know what's going on or don't really, you know, specialize in it or whatever, to maybe be taken advantage of and not be getting full value for their skins or whatever. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. I'm definitely going to have to open some of these up. I definitely think a good strategy here is going to be buying some of these on the very first day to, you know, sell 7 days from now or whatever when the market hold comes up, and seeing how much these are worth right off the bat. But like I said, obviously, I don't necessarily think this is better than the Desert Eagle Heat Treated, so I don't think it'll sell, you know, as well or be as crazy as that, but I do think this would be very, very cool. I definitely need to get into the game and check out how many stars it is and stuff like that, but yeah, I'll be diving more into this one. This is an absolute banger out of nowhere. Obviously, Ancient Knight I think is cool, the music kits I think is cool, whatever, but the big thing to me here and the big thing for the CS2 investing scene is this M4A1S Solitude and all the different patterns stuff we're going to see coming out of this. We'll have to wait and see, but pretty insane, you know, that now we have this Solitude coming out on a skin that's, or on a weapon that's actually going to have some genuine demand. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that there. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Again, this just came out minutes ago. Of course, as always, I wanted to real quick plug my cash trading business as well. If you guys are looking to sell any of your CS2 items, turn them into cold hard cash, crypto, PayPal, any other payment method, whatever, hit me up over on Twitter. I buy anything and everything for the right price. Obviously, I love getting the big deals done. So if you have any expensive skins, gloves, knives, bolt cases, maybe you want to sell your entire inventory, whatever, hit me up. We can get a deal done. And by selling them, you're helping support me and my channel, my content as well. With that being said, hopefully catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.